This video should explain how to apply percents to real life situations, specifically situations involving sales tax, discounts, sale prices, tipping people when you're at a restaurant or wherever, and finding commission. So let's get started. The basic idea of this is that you will always be finding the percent of the item that's in the problem. And since of course, means to multiply, you will always be multiplying whatever that percent is by the other number. So for sales tax, you're finding a percent of the total price. For a discount, you're finding a percent of the price. With a tip, you're finding a percent of the bill, and with commission, you're finding a percent of the sales amount. And there are other situations in which you can use percents, but these are the four specific ones that you will be asked to use in this unit. Okay, so let's start with the first one, sales tax. So this problem says, find the 7.2 sales tax on a pair of sneakers that cost $87.99. Then find the total cost. So we have to do two things. First, we have to find the tax. And then we have to find the total cost. Just going to underline that one. So let's focus first on the tax, because that's what we have to do first. So sales tax is a percent of the cost. So in this particular case, it's 7.2% of the cost, which means that we're going to take 7.2%, change it into a decimal that we can use to multiply, and then multiply that decimal times 87.99. So we'll simply be multiplying 87.99 by the decimal version of 7.2%, which you move the decimal point 2 places to the left, and so it becomes 0.072. And I'm not going to do the multiplication on the slide, because you can do that multiplication. When you multiply, after you have your two lines of products here, from multiplying 2 times 87.8799 and 7 times 8799, your final answer will be 633,528. Once you get to that point in time, after you've done all the multiplication and the adding, then you have to put the decimal point in your answer. So if you recall, to figure out how many decimal places go in your answer, you count how many there are in the problem altogether. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the problem, which means that we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers to the right of the decimal point in the answer. So our answer is 6.33528. But of course, this is money, and you can't pay somebody an amount of money equal to this decimal. So in order to do that, we have to round to the nearest cent. Cents end in the hundredths place. So if cents end in the hundredths place, we're going to look at the 5. 5 is 5 or more, obviously. So that means we're going to add 1 to the 3. And so we will be adding, for our tax, $6.34. That's our tax. Okay? So that's the tax. That's answer number 1. It says, then find the total cost. Well, this word total already tells us what we need to do, because the word total implies addition. So what are we going to add? We're going to add our original cost with our tax. So let me put that in there. We're going to add $87.99 to the $6.34. And when we do that, the result is $94.33. All right, so to find sales tax, again, you multiply the percent changed into a decimal by the cost. You make sure you can pay that amount of money, so you have to round to the nearest cent. If they're asking you to find total costs, it should make sense that you would add sales tax on, because that's what they do at the store. It always costs more than what the price tag says on the item you're buying. You add that to the original cost, and that gives your final cost. Okay, next idea. Same basic principle. Find the 45% discount on a pair of sneakers that regularly cost $87.99. Then find the sale price. So again, we're going to do two things. We're going to find the discount. So discount is the amount that they're going to take off the price. So if they're going to take off the price, then the sale, to get the sale price, we're going to end up subtracting. Okay, so to find the discount, it's the same procedure. We're going to change this, we're going to take 45% of the cost. So that means they're going to multiply $87.99 times 45% turned into a decimal. So move the decimal point 2 places to the left, and we get 0.45. So when you multiply those two numbers together, which I'm not going to do on the slide again, the result is 395955. Once again, we have to figure out how many decimal places. So we have 4 in our problem, which means that we have to have 4 decimal places in our answer. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The decimal point goes right there. Again, that's not a money amount, so we have to round it. When we round it, we always round to the cents, which end in the hundredths place. We look at the number to the right of it. It's 5 or higher. Since it's 5 or higher, we're going to add 1 to 9. If you add 1 to 9, it becomes 10. We have to carry the 1 over to the 5, so that becomes 6. And then the 39 stays the same. So the discount is $39.60. That's the amount they're going to take off the original price. So now we have to find the sale price. So to find the sale price, we take the original price, $87.99. And this time we're going to subtract the discount. Because remember, if you're buying something on sale, it's going to cost less than the original amount. So again, it should be logical. Oops, supposed to be a 6. Should be logical that you would be subtracting. And so when you subtract that, you get $48.39. Now this again should make sense. A sale price is less than an original price. Okay. Also, 45% is a little bit less than half of a discount. But if we just took half of $90, half of $90 would be $45, and this is about $45. It's going to be a little bit more than that because the discount is a little bit less than half price. Okay, moving on to the next one. A tip. So when you tip someone, you leave a percentage of the cost of your meal. And you always tip, well, most people do, you tip on the cost of the meal without tax because you don't need to tip on the amount of money that the government's going to get. So we're going to find the amount of tip you would leave if your dinner costs $56.78 without tax and you decide to leave an 18% tip. All right, so again, a tip is a percent of the cost of the meal. If it's a percent of the cost, that means you're going to multiply the percent changed into a decimal by the cost of the meal. So let's do that. So that means we're going to multiply $56.78. It always makes sense to put the longer number on top. You'll have a more compact problem. You're going to multiply that times 18% changed into a decimal. So you're going to move the decimal 2 places to the left, so times 0.18. We're not really lining up the decimal points here. It's just happening that way because of the way we're writing down the numbers. Okay, so we multiply those two things together, and the answer 1, 0, 2, 2, 0, 4. This is a 2. Okay, so now we have to put the decimal point in our answer because we're not going to leave a $100,000 tip for a $56 meal. So we have 4 decimal places in our problem. We need to have 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal places in our answer. So the decimal point goes there. And then we need to round so that we can actually pay someone the amount of money that we just figured out. So we're going to round to the hundreds place just like we have before. The number after it is less than 5. So in this case, the tip is $10.22. We don't need to do anything with that because all it asked us to do was find the tip. 18% of $56.78. Okay, last idea. Alrighty. Find the amount of commission a realtor would make selling a house that costs $287,000 if he earns 3.4% commission. So just like every other problem, we're finding this percent of the cost of the house. So we're just going to multiply 287,000 times, and then 3.4% changed into a decimal. Just move the decimal point 2 places to the left, so 0.034. So 3.4% doesn't seem like a lot of money, but when you multiply 287,000 times 0.034, you 975,800. Now, of course, that number, 9,758,000, does not make sense for somebody to make that amount of money for selling a house. But that's because we left out the part where we have to put the decimal point in our answer. So we have 3 decimal places in our problem. We have to have 3 decimal places in our answer, 1, 2, 3. And so the amount of money that this person is making for her commission or his commission is $9,758. So even though this person only gets 3.4% commission on a $287,000 house, this person is making, by selling this one house, $9,758. Okay, so once again, just to review, you will always be multiplying the percent changed into a decimal by the other number in the problem. Sometimes you have to add it to the item that you're multiplying, like if you're finding a total cost, or if it's a discount and you're finding a sale price, you'll have to subtract. Good luck.